If we think about the light, and of course at Christmas there's the darkness, the darkest time of year, but also there's all the lights that we shine. And we get to see the lights, but also, I don't know about you, but have you run into any little bit of darkness inside this journey that we're on? Only me? There's ups and downs this time of year. But if we think about the beautiful book, the Bible, and the first book in the Bible, and the first few lines of that first book of the Bible say, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Close. Okay, I'll read it. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. That's the first line. Second, and the earth was void and without form, and darkness was upon the face of the earth. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And the third line says, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And so light is a theme, a spiritual theme that is in us all. Really, everything comes from that light. And the light is the center of everything, always, everywhere. The late physicist David Bohm said that matter is frozen light. Everything is light. And whether it's slow-moving or just frozen, it's the light that wants to come awake in us. And that's the consciousness, the birth of that new consciousness that Janet was talking about. There's something new that wants to be born in us all the time. It's there. It's a yearning to melt away our rigidness, our old patterning, so something new can be born. It's that yearning. Jesus said, I am the light of the world. But the I is the I am that we all hold. And it's there for us to let that candle of peace and love burn through the veil of ignorance and darkness that we hold. Now, I don't want to sound like we don't believe in the feelings that come along with this package of life. We grow from all kinds of experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But we're here to recognize our emotions. I know this time of year can be hard. We talked last week about comparisons and difficulty and not enoughness and exhaustion or loneliness or too much to do or not enough or all sorts of things. My buddy Rumi, he talks about the guest house. And let me just say what he says. Every human being is a guest house. And every morning a new arrival comes. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness as an unexpected visitor. But he gives us some good advice. He says, be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent from a guide above, a message for us. So we don't take the spiritual bypass and just say, oh, just sparkle no matter what. Just put on that happy face and sparkle when you're feeling, I don't know, this time is a time of grief from people that have left us. It's sorrow for things that have happened or haven't happened. It can be a tough time. And we have, a practice came to me that I've mentioned many times during the years, but we were at a beautiful Christmas party last night. It was just lights and flowers and music and beautiful food. It was wonderful. Well, of course, Kirk was standing by the dessert table, eyeing the cookies. And a beautiful young woman walked by. She didn't look like our daughter, Tara, but she had the essence. She had one of those cute little dresses on and her black boots and her pretty hair. And I said, oh, she reminds me of Tara. And Kirk said, gosh, how one word. Here I'm so happy and so filled with the joy of the season. And he says, Doc Martens. And Tara loved her Doc Martens. And I remember taking her to buy them and how she loved them. She put them with a dress and she put them with jeans and she probably wore them with her bathing suit, but she always looked adorable because she had a great sense of style. Well, it brought up so much sadness like that. My eyes started filling with tears and a friend came up to me and said, are you okay? And I said, a moment of sadness. And it reminded me of a practice that we can do especially during these times. And it's the Tonglen practice, it's a Buddhist practice. But when a deep feeling comes up in you, or somebody you're with, or the world consciousness that we talk about, you breathe in that pain, and then you breathe out the opposite. So in that moment, I breathed in the grief I was feeling, the sadness, and I breathed out love. I just breathed out love. And in that love breath came all the memories of the goodness there is in life. Now, it doesn't happen like that all the time, that quickly. Sometimes you got to work it and work it and work it until you can morph yourself into something greater. But that's the idea of transformation and transcendence and moving up into something more. My boyfriend Rumi once again says that no one knows what makes the soul wake up so happy. No one knows what makes the soul wake up so happy. Maybe a dawn breeze has blown the veil from the face of God. And we remember there's so much more going on. You know, if we look at the goodness, that new consciousness that comes out, the light in us expresses as creativity, imagination, intuition, that spark of life. Because I think light is the aliveness in us. It's that aliveness. And that's how it shows up. If you think of Michelangelo and how he expressed the divine and let the divine work through and express, he saw that block of marble already had the statue in it. It was nothing he had to create. He had to find a way to release it. Same is true with us. He had to carve away all the excess of things that weren't working to let that marble be lifted out into the world. And that's what we need to do. We need to think, what is it that I need to let go of, to let that creativity, that inspiration, it's a time of joy, let that sparkle emerge. Carl Jung said it a little different way. He said the transference of the divine from the human, he equated it to a poet. And he said a poet as a conduit for the consciousness of God, to let the words come from within. The words are already there, but to let them come out and flow together in this beautiful way, to be expression of that light we call God, we call goodness, we call peace, we call love, we call kindness, we call understanding, whatever, creativity, whatever it is. That is what we are here to do. And if we often look at light as a river. It's called the river of light, and many books are called the river of light. Mark Nepo has one called Drinking from the River of Life, or Light. I can't read light. And Meister Eckhart said, God is a great underground river. No one can dam up and no one can stop. It's always there for us. And if we can stand on that truth and knowing that it is always there, there's goodness, there's light, there's inspiration. We just have to open up to it. Yogananda had a saying that's really hard for me to understand sometimes. He said, never give up and surrender. Isn't that a paradox? Never give up. Keep going on, keep on it, keep doing it, strive on, and surrender. How do we be in the flow of that river of light, of guidance and inspiration, and surrender to that, and always keep our dreams alive and active? Well, I have a practice that I read about, and I think it's such a beautiful way to allow ourselves to know that we can be in the flow and we can still grow and become and embrace something greater. I want you just in your mind's eye, just put your feet on the floor. Just take a nice deep breath and open yourself up. And you're going to do this from your imagination, but I want you right now to think of something of beauty that touches you. It could be a piece of art, it could be something in nature, it could be someone's face, it could be something that just touches you. Just in your mind's eye, have that picture in your mind's eye. Whether you feel it or sense it or see it, whatever it is, just know it in your mind's eye and put a frame around it. So it's right there. And I want you to speak to that thing of beauty, that thing that touches you. and listen to it. What does it have to say? What does it want to tell you? Because there's that connection between us and everything. And because it's touched you with beauty, it has something to say. And listen to it. What is it telling you? And then, can you see what's beyond the frame? What is the something more that wants to be known from that thing of beauty? There's always something more, a bigger message that's pulling at us and urging us to see something bigger and something greater. And that's for us to know. Now, Reverend Janet gave us this beautiful story of Christmas, the metaphysical meaning that we get to keep in our minds, how we're opening our consciousness and pushing away the old so we can be open to something new. And this is how can we expand ourselves and welcome in the light. We are like a candle or a light bulb. We are an instrument to hold the light. We're the instrument. But a candle doesn't work if it isn't lighted. And a light bulb doesn't work if it's not plugged into the power source. And if we plug our energy into the wrong source, we're not going to get the light. We have to make sure we're plugged into the right energy, that we can fill ourselves with light. We can drink from that river of light until we are filled. Ralph Waldo Emerson has a quote that I keep in my little pocket and pull it out. It says, "Be sure your earthly wagon is plugged into a spiritual star. That way, we know that light is filling us right now." I want to close with a little paragraph, a little shorter than a paragraph, from John O'Donohue's book of beauty called Beauty. And here's what he said. "Everything that is in God. There is nothing outside of God. We know God is all there is. God is the light." That was my part. "Yet God is also the most intimate dimension of every human being." That's the God in here. The most intimate dimension of every human being. "The warmth within the heart, that light, is something that nothing can extinguish. Once we awaken to the beauty which is God within us and around us, there is a sense of homecoming and belonging." I want you to feel that. Once we feel the warmth of that light in our heart, there's a homecoming and a belonging, that we're part of this all that is. Our love for our friends and family, our concern for the world and for the earth, our compassion for the pain of others reflect the light of God within us. Let's be that candle of blessing, that candle that knows forgiveness and truth and beauty and peace and love and understanding and forgiveness and all of that. Let us be that candle. So when we go out in the world, we celebrate that we are coming home to each other this holiday and beyond. Thank you for being my home. Thank you for being the people that travel together with a light we can recognize, a light we know, the light of love and the light of God. God bless you all.